Welcome back, folks! Army of the Dead is the latest vision by Zack Snyder, and by latest vision, I mean this is his story he wrote and directed, heck, he even did the cinematography. So, by all means, this is Zack Snyder's baby, which is funny because this is sort of his conceived spiritual successor to his remake of Dawn of the Dead all the way back in 2004. So at its core, Army of the Dead is a zombie heist movie, which just sounds like a lot of fun. And by all means, the opening credits also really set the tone for the movie. Played to Elvis Presley's Viva Las Vegas, we see a zombie outbreak as Las Vegas falls to a zombie apocalypse, and we see our main characters as they survive what kind of looks like a previous movie. We see some fun pink font, and we see some funny looking zombies, including Las Vegas entertainers, magicians, dancing girls. And so you can tell this is the flavor of the movie. A lot of dumb fun, a little humor, a little emotion. We're all here for a good time. It already has 2 prequels in the works, including an animated series, which will premiere on Netflix, which is where you can watch this movie. What also sets the tone of the movie is that we see this military convoy transporting a mystery cargo past Area 51, which of course makes the characters kind of do this theorizing about what could be in the mystery box, including aliens to fake land mooning, anything but zombies. But of course, what we do come to find out is there is a super zombie in there that starts this whole thing. And what's the inciting incident? A blowjob. Yeah, one couple entertaining themselves starts off an entire zombie apocalypse, pretty much ending all life in Las Vegas. That does kind of sound like how Las Vegas would go out, though. But if you're looking for an inciting incident for, well, the foreground story, it all starts with a wealthy Japanese man named Tanaka, played by Hiroyuki Sanada, who approaches one of the survivors of the Las Vegas, zombie outbreak, Scott Ward, played amazingly by Dave Bautista, who tells him, you have 3 days until the government's gonna bomb the heck out of Las Vegas, so if you build a team and go in, there's a secret stash of 400 mil. If you bring that to me, you get a pretty big cut of the deal. So, and of course, that's exactly what he does. And strung into that is a father-daughter subplot, where Scott's daughter, Kate Ward, played by Ella Purnell, who actually joins the heist because she's going to conduct a rescue mission. And of course, they get a full cast of colorful characters, played by some stellar actors. Specifically, we get a character named Guzman, played by Raul Castillo, who hilariously gets founded because he has a YouTube channel of using graphics to make it look like a video game where he's taking out zombies, which seems stupidly appropriate. We also have this fantastic duo, sort of like a really weird odd couple. We have the serious and badass Vanderho, played by Omari Hardwick, and the brilliant but squirrely Dieter, played by Matthias Feighofer. And so as they're entering the city, of course they go through their herds and crowds of zombies, but they also discover there's a sub-race of zombies called Alphas, including the original one, who's referred to as Zeus because, well, he is the king badass of the entire city, so why not? And he has a bride that he gets preggers? Which kind of makes me wonder if these aren't really actually zombies, but some kind of mutant. You know, kind of like how they have in Resident Evil. Which, funny enough, there's a lot of Resident Evil vibes in this movie. What with a helicopter, a time limit, a super zombie. I just thought that was kind of a funny coinky-dink. And the credits even have a roll call for some of these characters, which again kind of makes it feel sort of like an action show or music video, which again just kind of gives it the proper tone. So overall, this is your typical summer blockbuster dumb fun. A couple of negatives though is that for such a big budget, we do have some really crummy CGI effects, including a helicopter, some explosions in the city that just look weirdly fake. I'm talking like Sci-Fi Channel Flick of the Week fake, which is weird because the rest of the film looks a lot more polished. And on top of that, most of the film looks okay, and I know in filmmaking, you use narrow depths of field in order to kind of get that sort of dramatic look, sharp image in the foreground and blurry background. But where there's a lot of environments, a lot of light poking through windows, it just looks really weird, like the characters are green screened onto a bubble desktop picture. Which tells me to be careful about that narrow depth of field, that it's not necessarily always good to have the narrowest. But yeah, as far as the ending goes, I feel like emotionally, it's pretty satisfying what happens. But plot-wise though, with all the goals that are set in motion, it's surprisingly unsatisfying and kind of makes you question if there was any point to the plot that we just watched. And it's funny because this is Zack Snyder's first project after finishing Justice League. So According to him, this was sort of his way just to have fun and relax a little bit, especially from studio interference. And you can tell a lot of fun and passion just went into this. Whether that makes it good or not, you can tell there were some good vibes going into this picture. And which is funny too, because whereas in Justice League, there were these weird moments where, you play a sequence and then you have like some kind of like well-known song playing over it. Justice League used that to a sort of a weird note. But in here, you can tell it works really well. Especially when they play the song Zombie by the Cranberries towards the end of the movie. It's actually like stupidly fitting. And that describes a lot of the movie. It's dumb, but it's surprisingly fitting. But if there's one element that pieces this whole thing together, it is Dave Bautista. Which I was worried I was going to watch this movie and couldn't help but see Drax the entire time. But I'm actually really surprised to say that Bautista actually really delivered. He actually brought a lot of the emotion, he even had a certain steady temper. He felt like a totally different character. Honestly, I could easily see him as the next Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I would definitely watch him in any future flicks. And I kind of hope he does. He's just the kind of guy you feel like is sort of this big, muscly beefcake that you just want to give a hug. So guys, with that said, Army of the Dead gets my score of 2.5 stars. It's not a great movie by any means, and honestly, Bautista I think is what really brings it all together. Plus those intro credits. Nonetheless though, if you love your zombie action movies, you're gonna get a kick out of this as well. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Have you all seen Army of the Dead? And if not, what else have you been watching lately? Comment below, let me know, and stay tuned right here if you all want to see more.